are giving it to their best, but the citizens has to be involved. And then also the national government has also to give us special attention. Like even on the funding. When they're allocating money for Nairobi County, they should look at it in a different way. Let me talk about like MCAs. Like the elected ones, they don't get enough. They get like any other MCA in the whole country. So assuming an MCA of Nairobi serving so many people from his ward and different challenges of drainages, water, health, like that, like everybody has left their home, they have come to settle in Nairobi. We are mothers of everyone in this country. Then you compare this one with the local or rural MCA. Then you're getting the same packages. It cannot help them sustain a better leadership that people are expecting from them.
So between the nominated MCAs and the elected MCAs, do we have a solid relationship between these two kinds of people?
Yes, we have a solid relationship. It depends with what you want to choose as a nominated MCA. If you want to choose to embrace the elected MCA, it is good. But we're doing this for our own future. But if you feel like you just came there, you don't want to know what is happening, that is still your choice, but what will be happening of you in the future. So the elected, we support them. When they're having activities, we join them. When we're giving ideas in the house, I can give my idea, they support the idea, and they run with it to their wards, and it works well. So we believe we're working so well.
Now, we will come back to that later on,
yes,
especially with regards to the relationship between nominated MCS and elected, because there is a debate there.
I know.
And would you say that there is tension?
There is tension with some of the MCAs, especially when you don't know where you are. You know, you can be walking and you ask, where are you? You say, I am not very sure where I am. I'm almost approaching. But when you know where you are and you know what to execute, all of us as legislatures of the same level, apart from me not having a ward that I was elected in, we are treated equally. But it is you to use the opportunity that you have.
Now, we will come back to that discussion later on.
Yes.
But now, with regards to what we have just mentioned here about the citizens,
yes,
as Nairobians, if I would use that term, as Nairobians, are we also playing a role in ensuring that the county moves to the next level and develops and grows as a cosmopolitan?
I think Nairobians, to be very honest, we are doing very less to support the county. Why? When we just give an example of today let us do a pilot of making sure we don't have a lot of traffic in town. The citizens, they'll cry the whole day, they'll cast the governor, they'll cast the leadership, and these are things that people put in place to try to see if it works. It works well, we adopt that. When we say let us not build on the riparian, we are the same people who do that. But then when it's coming to be broken down, we blame the leadership, you know?
So who gives the citizen the powers to build on the riparian land, for example?
First of all, I always blame the victim first. When you're going to seek for these letters, you are the one who knows where this land is before you get those letters. When you go there and convince these people that this is what it is. These people, even if they're giving you, the officers who are giving you the licenses of building, at the end of the day, who suffers? Why don't you take it that me first? I know this is riparian. I don't want to convince the law to be on my side. I just want to do the right thing. We'll keep out of trouble.
How then can a normal mwananchi, the common mwananchi, be able to certify that this documentation that I have is legit? Because some of them have stamps, some have the letterheads that is written with the appropriate addresses, with the appropriate name. How can a common mwananchi be able to distinguish between the real documentation and fake?
First of all, the real mwananchi, before you go to the land spot, what have you gotten on the ground? If I am in Kawangware, I'm coming from Kawangware, I see this land there's a sewer line passing there. And then I try and convince myself, I can make this to be my land. I go to the land board to convince them that I want this. Those are also human beings. However much we start blaming them, I start from the ground. That you've always seen this is a playing ground for children. Then you start making it to be something for yourself. You go there, you start looking for legal papers. However much those people should be blamed, you are the first victim to be blamed that why did you have to start putting this into your possessive property? Why do you make it your personal property? Start with yourself. When you start with ourselves, those people will not have a job. They will not have it. Because nobody will go to them. You'll always know, this one is a land for the public. This one is riparian land. I would not start jungling with it. So
someone like me can be able to know that this is something
you're able to know if you're living in an estate, unless you're somebody who has just been brought from outside. Even me, I know. Where there's these rivers, we know. Where people have built on sewer line, we've seen even in Kawangware people have built on sewer lines. We've seen people who have even taken electricity through a wrong way and it's going through their plots. You know that one, you cannot now go start blaming Kenya Power. We start with yourself, because if disaster comes, it is you and everything that you put in that goes down before we start now going up. We start doing the right thing from the mashinani, then everything goes up well.
Wow.
Yes.
But then, if at all we are to talk about blaming the common mwananchi, but then there is the aspect of documentation. How then would you still insist on blaming the common mwananchi, yet someone has been able to make his own small understanding, based on his small and little understanding that he understands. He says that this, maybe it is not on riparian land, I would like to consult further. And the people that he consults with do not give him the right, the proper advice. But anyway, moving forward, is it right for the documentations that you receive from these institutions to be given to the mwananchi with the knowledge that it is fake?
If there is the knowledge that it's fake, these people are supposed to be apprehended.
Those who give are
Those who
aware.
have issued that certificate. And when that starts, everybody will be saved from getting into such trouble. I still go back to Mwananchi. Haven't you seen some pictures or some clips on TV showing that there's somebody who was trying to grab land, I don't know where, the whole community came up, they made so much noise, and that land was now saved from being grabbed. And even those fake documents. You know, there's a way people just come, a developer comes in the land that does not belong to them. They have done their own funny creation of papers up there and they bring it down. Then the Mwananchi, they group themselves together and stop it. It has been happening. It's not unique. But this one, if you wake up and come up with some documents, you've been told this is right, this thing, you must have conspired with someone that nipatie to this makaratasi so that we can do this, we create business out of it like that, like that.
So you're alluding to corruption now?
Yes. You have to start from the beginning. I want this land. I go to the chief. I go to the villagers, ask, is this the right land? Before I even make another step up.
Now, the corrupt people are the citizens now.
All of us. Officers, citizens, where? But where do we start to stop it? We should start from mashinani. So
Nairobi County is not developing starting from mashinani and not from the top there.
Nairobi is developing starting from mashinani. The only problem we have is, and I'm still saying it is we.
Okay. The hashtag to use on Twitter is Good Morning Kenya at KBC Television and at Aguko. Let's take a short break.
Please
because one of the panelists has just joined, has just come in, and we will be joining her shortly. So do not go too far. County Watch is still going on. Nominated MCA Millicent Jagero has joined us in studio. Thank you very much for coming.
Yeah, welcome.
Now, we were talking about the status of Nairobi County. In your opinion, as you had just talked earlier, are you satisfied with how it is, the development process, the rate at which we are moving in terms of our projects?
So far, so good. The developments are there, they're being seen. It's not something that we are imagining that they're not there. The developments are there. In terms of transport, the congestion of the city, the governor is working on it, and the terminuses are on point. They have been already made. There are 5 or 5 terminus points that are already in place. Then on health sectors, we have hospitals that have been upgraded. The Mbagathi, the Pumwani Hospital and Mama Lucy, they have been upgraded. And currently in all sub-counties, the health centers are being upgraded.
All right. With regards to, okay, before we go to the health centers, because that's also another critical issue there, do you think that corruption is starting from the top, from the bottom up, from the top to the bottom?
No, corruption is starting from the bottom to the top.
Okay. But there are claims that corruption has gone through the process of devolution.
Yes, it has, but it is starting from the bottom. The reason why I'm saying that it's starting from the bottom, it is us, the Wananchi,
yes,
who are encouraging corruption to take place. Because every now and then, when we are being asked for kitu kidogo, we are always willing to give it out. So it doesn't start with the people who are at the top. Because the moment we refuse to give out that bribe, the corruption will not be there. And the governor is really fighting corruption, especially at the county level. The officers are really, really on the watch of the governor.
Now, let's get into the next thing here. Health. Our rivers, they're dirty. the streets, we have lots of litter. Even if you go to some parts of the county, go to Dandora area, we have places that just have a foul smell. Even here within the CBD, what are your comments concerning that?
I will stick on my comment on the people, because you will not expect these leaders to be the ones coming to clean your rivers. I have seen landlords, they just wake up, they open their sewer line, it's just rolling on the other side with a lot of dirt, litter, papers, what, and they don't care. And at the end of the day, they have it at the back of the mind that City Council is there to come and clean. What has happened? We banned the plastic papers. It has worked. Must you also say we have to ban the dumping of waste in the sewer, in the water?
So now, if you're blaming everything to the common man,
yes,
to the citizen, then what is the role of the leaders there if they are not to rectify what's happening in the country?
Leaders are rectifying. We are giving even guidelines of what do we do. And you're also giving them awareness that this is unhealthy for your life. But common mwananchi will always sit back and say, hii ni kazi ya mheshimiwa. Hii ni kazi sijui ya governor. This governor is not working. Watakuja kufanya. Who is going to be sick? Let's start from there. Who will fill the Kenyatta hospital when they are sick? Why don't you start with you and say, I have decided I want to live in a clean environment. However much we are also supporting, we are not able to go in all corners of this sewer lines or this the river. You always even wonder, we need this river as a tourist site. But we don't use it in that way. People have just taken it to be something else. Go back to your own rural community. Do we do that in rivers? There's a way we dispose our litter. Why aren't you doing that in Nairobi? It's because in Nairobi you just think it's not ours. And you're supposed to own this in Nairobi because that is where we live most of our life.
And you're agreeing with that?
Home.
Not really.
Okay.
Not really. As much as we say that cleanliness is second to godliness, the mwananchi, as in the common person, has to take that responsibility of ensuring that it is clean. But we also, as the leaders, we should ensure that we have sensitized them on the importance of keeping their city or keeping their societies in clean places.
So there is no sensitization from the leaders to the people?
Sensitization is very minimal.
And you believe that?
I still don't agree with her. We've been doing this with the governor himself. We go for cleanup in one of the wards or several wards, showing a good example to Mwananchi that this is what we need to be doing and this is a good environment you're supposed to be staying in. Must we wait again for that governor to come back, like after 6 months, for the same process to be done? That is part of awareness.
But you know, as much as you are saying that, the governor is doing the sensitization. Yes, he is doing it. But is that person at the grassroots level being reached at? Who is supposed to sensitize that person?
Then
the governor will not go directly to that person. We have the ward administrators who are in charge of the particular wards where cleanliness is taking place. If they don't sensitize the common mwananchi, how will they know about the importance of cleanliness? They'll just be assuming that we usually have monthly cleanliness, and after that, the place has to be back again. We'll wait for the next month for the cleanliness to take place again. So we have to sensitize them.
It's either the problem comes from the leaders or from the people who are being led, from the leaders or from the followers. The followers dump, the leaders pick. Or the followers dump and nothing happens. Or do we say that the followers are also doing their sense of cleanliness? Can you say that it is having double standard? Because the same kind of litter that we have in the streets is not seen in the houses.
That is what I wanted to disagree with my friend. We have to start with yourself. To be very honest, for this Nairobi to change, I have to start thinking like, where do we dump our stuff nowadays when we don't have these plastic bags? It has stopped. I should be the first person to say, no, I cannot take this litter to such a place where it's not required.
What about Nairobi River? What would you comment concerning that?
I am still commenting on the same. People are dumping huge junk of sewage in Nairobi River. Who are these people? The landlords in Nairobi, also the residents of Nairobi, when they're not being given opportunity that this way a central place of dumping our litter, they decide watch and end kazini, and then they just pick it and drop it on the way going. Where does that start? It's not a leader. It is you people on the ground. Why don't you even see someone doing that and stop that person that what you're doing is wrong? Why don't we police for ourselves? This sensitization has been there ever since. We've been talking about this litter. They have seen cholera globing people around. So is that something that you also need to be told every day, every day? Why don't you start that responsibility like in your house, when you clean your house, you do this, you know? In your homes, when you visit these people's homes from the rural area, it's very clean. Why do you want to make Nairobi a dumping place?
But the leaders, okay, what have the leaders done, even with regards to even cleaning Nairobi River?
At the county level, so far, Nairobi River, we've not participated. But we have plans of participating in it, of doing coming up with a policy that will ensure that Nairobi, that all the rivers are clean and up to standard. In the previous years, we had an organization that was doing the cleanliness of the Nairobi River, and it was clean. It remained clean for that period during the Mishuki regime. It remained clean until now, whereby the people again, mostly at the marketplaces, they started dumping back the garbages in those rivers again.
So
but the places where trees were planted, I'll say that it's minimum. It's not a lot.
Okay. We have been joined this morning by Honorable Patrick Karani, MCA for Utawala. Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
Thank you very much.
Now, what are your comments concerning the status of Nairobi County cleanliness? Is it a problem with the leaders or the followers?
I think it is a problem that can be attributed to the residents and also to the leadership.
Both of them?
Yes. It is a shared problem. In terms, when you look at the leadership, the planning aspect of it, how we plan our garbage, how we generate the garbage, how we dispose the garbage, the entire issue of management is a problem. Also the residents, we have a problem because we have a culture in this town, in this county, whereby people are not serious about the issues of garbage management in terms of how we generate it and how we dispose it.
Now, within your county, your ward,
yes,
you are a ward rep for Utawala.
Yes.
Now, how far are you with regards to cleaning Utawala ward?
In Utawala, we are trying to have a different approach, whereby we have mobilized we have formed a CBO, Utawala Mazingira community-based organization. Okay. This group, we wanted to have a different approach how we address the issue of the garbage. We have sensitized the residents, and we have teamed up as a community, whereby we have decided as a want, as a community, that our garbage is our responsibility. We have identified a site whereby we will be collecting the garbage and temporarily store that garbage. In that site, we sort it so that what can be recycled can go through a recycling process, and the rest can be disposed at the dump site in Dandora.
So Utawala will become a clean ward
in
the near future?
Yes. Come 9th of March, we have set that date.
Which year?
March this year.
This year.
We are launching the program.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, you recently you were with the Embakasi East MP,
yes,
and you were giving your remarks concerning the demolitions that were happening.
Yes.
Remember, one of the recent demolitions that we had on the riparian land was near
yes,
your ward,
yes,
near the Cabanas
yes,
area.
Yes.
Now, what are your comments concerning the building of structures on riparian land that are happening even within your ward?
Basically, to comment on that, demolition. The most iconic one, the Taj Mahal, that, you know, it embodies my want.
Yes.
Was very emotive issue when that demolition happened. Because, one, it happened when the owner claimed that they had, you know, all the necessary legal documents.
Which they presented.
Which they presented.
Yeah.
And when we came to verify the authenticity, we found it was true. they were approved by the county. So now it remains a puzzle that the same government that authorized for construction to take place is the same government that is coming. You know, it became a victim of double speak.
And you had said that it is the citizens who should be aware about the area that they want to build on,
Yes.
whether it's riparian or not. With regards to what he is saying, don't you think the blame doesn't go to the citizens? It goes to the institutions.
When I start right, I will not perish. When you start, I want this land, you must do your own due diligence, even from the leadership of that area. We have the VGGs was there and the chief and something like that. You don't go and sit with the people up there and you tell them, kuna kashamba mahali, I want to possess this shamba. They will always give you the advices because they want some money from you. And the money, you are the one who costs a lot, the person who wants this land. They'll go and choreograph those papers and they give it to you. Because when you'll be in trouble, they will not be with you that time. So it has to start with me. I want this land. What is the history of this land?
But how does it start with you if you got the papers from the institutions?
You see, I will give you a very good example. In Utawala, we have public lands that has been encroached by private developers. We have a land whereby we have currently Ambwao that was done by the former minister, who is now the governor for Kitui County, Honorable Charity Karukengiro, who dug Ambwao back in the year 2007. And that land, it is 2 acres of land now. It has been encroached.
By who?
By private developers, by land grabbers.
Land grabbers?
Yes. It has flats, it has market stores, and that land was marked for a primary school.
And you can verify that they are
We
land grabbers?
We have documents back that can be backdated to 1983, when the subdivision of that land was being done.
So you are aware of this?
Yes.
But what have you done concerning that as a leader?
What I've done, I've mobilized the citizens. I've collected 10,000 signatures from the residents. And we have done a public petition, and it is due to be presented in the county assembly next week.
You'll bring it to the floor of the county assembly next week?
Yes. Whereby now we are seeking now ways on how to address that.
And again, in addition to what Honorable Karani is saying, as the Public Accounts Committee of the County Assembly, we are doing we already have the auditor's report concerning the public lands that have been encroached, and we are reclaiming them back. We summoned the county officials, we summoned even the individuals who are concerned in buying those, in acquiring those properties. We went for site visits and confirmed that indeed those public lands have been encroached, and we are reclaiming them back. We've done a letter, so we are waiting for its implementation.
So with regards to encroachment of this land, do they have the documentations to prove that it is theirs? Because yes, you may claim it is, you allege that it is grabbed, but what happens if they present the documentation to prove that it is theirs?
Yes, they have the documentations, but the land, when it's been evaluated, it belongs to the county of Nairobi. It belongs to the government land. It is a public land. They were given in wrong ways.
So who suffers there? Me, as a mwananchi.
The person who bought it, the
Because
buyer.
I bought it knowing that this is a public facility.
Yes.
But I can use I maneuver with my own ways. I can even give money for these people to produce these legal documents.
How is the working condition in the Nairobi County Assembly? We had Nairobi South MCA, Honorable Jagero, who said that the Assembly was treating the non-elected members, complaining that they were working without offices, and which was an inconvenience to the nominated MCAs, and that your performance as nominated MCAs has been negatively affected by the lack of having offices. Nominated members of county assemblies in Nairobi are set to get new offices in the near future, and they are going to have personal assistance and improved parks. What are your comments concerning that?
I support.
Are you mistreating the nominated MCAs?
No. Not at all.
But you support this?
I support. They need to be given the capacity in terms of the office facility, because they have an office and some responsibility. They need a workstation. And just like elected, we have offices. We have offices in
but they are rented.
Sorry?
Are they rented?
Yes, they are rented.
They are rented. They are also the ones that have been constructed by the county.
There are those that are rentals, and there are those that have been constructed by the county.
Yes. So an MCA is an MCA, whether elected or nominated.
How is the working conditions within Nairobi County, the relation between the elected MCAs and the nominated MCAs? So what challenges are you facing so far?
As I said earlier, we have a very good working relationship. Because when you're in the house, any motion you bring, nobody says this is for nominated, this is for elected. They just support it because if it's for a good cause. But for us to get officers is vital, because you see, when you want to meet me, you'll meet me on the streets. Or you'll always meet me in the coffee shops, whereby it's much more expensive and very inconvenient because we cannot have conducive discussion. We also need to serve people. We are serving people whereby the elected person cannot handle everything, especially concerning women who have sensitive issues. They would like to have an office where there's a women MCA because of a gender top of issue in the constitution is about women representation. We need to also help them to serve this wananchi in a better way.
Now, we have got lots of, we had experienced lots of resignation as we wrap things up by the county staff, including the former Deputy Governor, Polycarp Egade, who resigned on January 12, 2018, barely 6 months after the elections, down to even having Janet Aguko, who recently resigned as the Nairobi County Education CEC. Governor Mike Sonko also suspended the health executive director over alleged laxity. So the question is the lifestyle of our leaders, even within the county assembly, even within Nairobi County, is it faulty? How do we help the governor? How do we bring synchrony within the county government? Let me start with you.
I think depending on the performance contract that the CECs signed, it will define on whether they're performing or not, or whether they're not performing. And as we know, our governor, he doesn't like corruption, and he doesn't like people who are lying or working behind his back. You just be straight because you're working for the people of Nairobi.
If people resign, does it affect you?
You're not working for him. You're not working for him. You are working for the people of Nairobi. And when you are underperforming, definitely you'll have to go, because there is no point for you to stay there and leave Nairobi residents looking at you, then after all coming to blame the governor that he's not performing, and yet it is your docket that is not performing. We'd rather have a competent CEC who is performing and ensuring that the citizens and the manifesto of the governor has been implemented.
Wow. We shall come back to this discussion later on. And I believe and I pray that we come back and have this discussion on another day, because there's still more that we need to talk about. We have to wrap it up at that point. Ladies and gentlemen, the hashtag to use on Twitter is Good Morning Kenya, at KBC Television, at Ram Aguko, and at Jane Wambui this morning. I was joined by Honorable Mellab, Alemha, Lumalah, the nominated MCA, and next to me, Millicent, Anyango, Honorable nominated MCA, together with Patrick Karani, Honorable MCA from Utawala. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me. Hope we will continue this discussion on another day. All right? Thank you very much. May God bless you. Have a good morning. See you tomorrow on Good Morning Kenya.